Um, okay, I'll share my screen. Okay, so as Oke was explaining, she has explained extensively yesterday, I believe, about the epic features and the stories and how they work. So when you are creating your okay, now you've gotten your, let's assume that you've gotten your requirements from your stakeholders, and now it's time to populate those requirements. So I'm sure Oke already explained what epic is, so I'm not going to go into my theology of epic and how I explain it. So the epic, you click on epic, and then now from this drop down, you must ensure that it is on epic, and then you click on new work item, the new work item. So let's say, what's a big epic that you can think of?
Just say like develop a website for Blue Sky Citadel. I think that was
Okay.
we used that. Yeah. And guys, there's also another way to do it. It's just here before Bolu moves on. If you see above, would I say on top of the main center portion of the screen where you have the gift read project, you can see you have backlog analytics and you have new work item. So you can click from there, or you can do it the way that Bolu has said. So there are two ways. You just play around with it and you will figure out where all these things are. So those are two ways of doing it.
Okay. Yeah, this is what she's talking about, this place. Yes, so now there is a plus sign in front of the epic. Sorry. There's sorry. I don't know why he's behaving this card. So there's a plus sign. So it's asking you to add feature to it. I think AzureDevOps has now upgraded before it will give you option of features and stories. But when you click this plus sign, then you need a feature. Okay, what feature are we using?
So say homepage, just say homepage, yeah.
Homepage. So our feature is homepage. Then in front of the feature, you see another plus sign, and that's where you
This
add
is
your user
points
story.
now, Bolu. So at what point will we see the tasks and all that? Okay, let's see.
Yeah,
The
so
the format is kind of different now.
yeah, I think they've updated because before it used to be PBI that used to be here.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't
And I was
user
surprised to see
story. So they've
stories. Yeah,
they've
yeah.
updated, and before you will see the drop down, now no more drop down.
Mm.
So Azure keeps updating
But that's why
as you
it's
go
good
along.
to know the reasoning behind everything and not just memorize. You understand? Because as with every software and all these solutions, they will keep updating. But if you know the reasoning behind it and what you're looking for, it might just be that they've placed something, they've moved it from the left to the right, or from the top to the bottom, or from the bottom to the middle. But yeah, you still know how to work your way around it. So when you are creating your stories, you guys feel free to, when I say play around, I don't mean can break anything, but try and explore. Hover. You see, when Bolu hovered on that plus sign, it said add feature. So you know that if you click on it, it will you'll be able to add a feature. When you now when you've added the feature and you hover above the plus sign by the feature, it's prompting you to put in your user story. Is this the story now with feature?
Is the user story that we
The
are on?
story. Okay, so let's say I don't know, header menu. Header menu.
Okay, and
See.
just click on save and close, and then it saves. So you see all of these are connected. None of them is an orphan. This is the epic, this is the feature, and this is the user story.
Yep.
So this is the tax and the bug, which is for the QAs and the developers. So as BAs, you don't need this. You don't need the task and the bug, except when you are doing your user acceptance testing, and you have to raise a bug.
Visible,
But
yeah.
aside that, you will necessarily not have to make use of task because it's the developers. When I say developers, that's the QA and the developer that uses task mostly. So this is us. This is for
Okay.
us.
So guys, you can see the basic way it's been done and how Bulu has linked everything up. There's no orphan, so if you trace the header, you can see that the parent is the home page, and then which is a feature, and then above the feature you've got the epic. Bulu, can you do me a favor and click on the user story? Let me just show them where they can put the information that they need to put in. So if you look at this now, it's already generated a unique ID for the user story, 18262, and it says header. So that's because you've given it the title, or a name. Now you can see a box that says description. Underneath that box, you can see acceptance criteria. Now, you remember we talked about the user story and the format, and we said as I want so that. So all that will go into the description bit, the user story, the actual user story. So you have as whatever I want. So all those brilliant examples you guys gave yesterday, that's where it's going to come in, right? As whatever I want to so that, okay. And then for the acceptance criteria, this is you put in your acceptance criteria using the Gherkin syntax that we discussed yesterday. So the giving, when, then, and remember you might have more lines than that because the scenario might require more steps. So sometimes you may have giving whatever, when this is, and whatever, or don't be too hung up about where you place the and. Just put in something that makes sense. But essentially, you must have a given, when, and a then. Okay, so if you notice, Bolo has done given, when, and then. When we did stuff yesterday, I think we had given and then we did when, then, and then there was even an and behind it or something. I can't quite remember the exact, but there were two of them. Don't be hung up. There's no, I'm now speaking loosely, there's no right or wrong way. And when you start, it depends on your agreement, like in whatever organizations you are working in. And as far as there's a shared understanding of what you've put on the board, that's all that really matters. As far as it's clear enough for everybody to see, okay? So yeah, so that's where you put everything. What else again do we even add to this place? Yeah, so if you're putting like wireframes and other documents, you would then go and so you can put a note to say, please find see Olu, show off. Where do you see wireframe just now?
I'm working on a project, so I was
People like
doing.
Bolu, they make us look bad in class, as in all these kind of ethical people. Where do you see wireframe just now? I
I
just
was
said you
working on
got
a
wireframe.
project before this meeting, so I was
Please.
showing someone how to do this.
It's
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
Thank you. So, for example, you have your wireframe there. What if you have some other information that will help the developers? So for example, you go and do your elicitation, and your PO is saying, or the stakeholder is saying, oh, please put this specific write-up here, maybe for the about us or whatever, or do you get additional stuff? You can just put a comment in there to say, please find in the attachment. Where do we have the attachment now? So can you see that sign? That paper clip sign. You click on it, and you're able to add. How like you can add files from your laptop or something. So you must have saved it somewhere. You go and add it there. That is the professional way to do it. Do you get when you're working with? So you make references to it, and then you come and add it on here. Okay. So I think that about covers everything that we need to know in terms of from the BA side of things. Can you see under the planning section, under the planning, you have story points, priority, risk, and all that. Now, the story points would be, remember I mentioned something about refinement. When you're doing your refinement meeting, this is where they'll be focused on story points, because the developers and the testers, we need to estimate the amount of effort required to get that story complete, or to develop it, or to get their own. So they would estimate the amount of effort it would take for them to do their own part, and they will put in their estimates. When they've agreed, they have their ways. You will find out as you guys go on. But I'm letting you know, not that you're going to be using it, but it's important that you know it, because you don't even know where you're going to end up. I was in one project last year, and I had to be coordinating refinement meetings, right? So it wasn't like for the Scrum Masters, it was for the BAs to do. I was the only BA there, so I had to coordinate it. And there were like 5 developers, 1 tester. You would coordinate everything, and you get them to put in their estimates, agree on it, and then put in a value here. The project I'm working on now, remember I told you, is all BAs of my project, my team just now. What we do is, when we're doing our refinement, so you will find that there are sophisticated ways of estimating, and then there are really simple ways of estimating. So really, there's no hard and fast rule. So sometimes people use they use Fibonacci sequence, and then it depends on what you're doing. So for us, when we're doing our estimates, we just say on our team's call, somebody just says, okay, ready, 3, 2, 1, go. We put it on the chart, right? And then we then discuss why we have put in that estimate, and then we agree, okay, I'm happy to go up, and the other person says, I'm happy to come down, meet you in the middle, and then we put in that value there. Okay, so it's good for you to be aware. So please don't log off in your mind when things are happening, like when Scrum Masters are talking. Please just be very aware, be present, because you never really know which of these skills you will use. So when you've put in all those information, you see that Mbolu puts additional information. Please refer to the attachment, and then you can also say, please see wireframe below, whatever. You then save and close, and that's your user story done. Okay. That's about it. I said 15 minutes. This is not 20 minutes, but that's it. Bolu, did I miss anything? Bolu has removed a
No.
fancy wireframe.
Yeah.
She's not only able to spy her wireframe.
I'll
Bolu,
still
when will
take them
you teach?
back.
When will you teach the wireframe? Okay,
I
so
mean,
I
I
think
think
that's about all.
next week, I guess. I'm not sure.
Next week.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it. It really is that straightforward. It's easy. So at this point, I'll just take 1 or 2 questions if there are any at all. But yeah. Any questions before we call it a day? Marindoti, yep. You need to unmute. You're still muted, Marindoti. So we've got 3 people's hands up: Marindoti, Michael, and Oladele. Oh, and Timitope as well. Okay, Marindoti, you're still not unmuted. So Michael, go on, please.
All right, thank you. Please, I just have a quick question, please. This Bolu showed one wire walk or wireframe. How do we
Wireframe.
get?
Yeah. Calm down. This is another person that wants to put the the cart before the horse. But you see what you've got, Snappy. Don't worry about it. There's going to be another session for wireframes, okay, and how to create them. Is that okay? Worry not, fear not. Bolu has got you. She would show you in due time. Okay, Oladile, your question. Okay,
Can I
Marindoti,
go?
okay, Marindoti can go first, and then
Okay,
Oladile.
good evening. Thank you
Good
very much
evening.
Bolu. Please, I want to ask the user story. Is it going to be in a tabular form?
What do
Sorry
you mean
for my
tabular?
question.
What do you mean tabular?
Yes. Like, is it going to be in a like essay writing, or
I'm not
because we
sure I
are told to
understand you.
submit? We are told to submit our user stories tomorrow. So I don't
Okay,
know if it's going to
so
be as an essay, since we are not going
right,
to put it
okay.
online.
On the board. Okay, I'll tell you a simple way. So just take it that that you're just writing your user stories and saving them in a document. Okay, so you can even open a Word document. Some people even use Excel, whatever you want to use. But I'll say a Word document, but just make sure it's in those 3 lines, as whatever I want, so that do you get, and then you put your acceptance criteria. So that when you are ready, you can just copy it from there straight onto your Azure, into the fields, right on the board. Does that explain or does that answer your question?
Yes. But I also have one more question.
Okay.
I want to ask, like, we are given the requirements, and the PO wants it in 3. Sorry for the background noise. The PO wants it in 3 sections: the header, footer, and the banner. Are we going to be writing the user stories and acceptance criteria for each separately, or is going to be together?
Each separately.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
because
we
they
write
have to
for the
develop the header,
landing page
develop
separate. The header
everything
separate.
every requirement they've said. Yes, yeah.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah, so now your work begins.
Thank you.
Okay, Michael, I've answered the question, I think. So Oladele, your hand is still up though, so I assume it's a legacy hand.
Well,
Oladele.
yeah, good evening. I actually just wanted to ask the same question Michael asked about the wireframe.
So thanks to my right. Okay, so there you go. You have your answer. Temitope, on you go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and thank you, Bolu, as well. Sorry, I just wanted to ask where Bolu added that if there's additional information, is that where we add like pictures and hyperlinks and all that?
Okay, so it's really up to you. So you might want to, you see, even the wireframe, like if you have it, well, put your wireframe there. If you've got pictures like in a document, it's tidier if you have it in an attachment. Do you get? So I'm assuming if you've will I say obtained those requirements, or you've gotten the information you need, right, and you saved it as a document, it just makes sense to attach it, isn't it? And it makes it tidier. Like instead of just putting everything on there. I mean, if it's a URL or something, you can put that, in 1 line or 2 in a bullet point or something. But if you've got pictures, further information that might just make the thing too clumpy or too busy, I mean, I would suggest, for presentation sake to add them on as attachments. Who else? So that's the way I've answered your question, right? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, if I can just quickly say the reason why I put the wireframe there, like wireframe specifically, not document, is because it's easier for your especially when you're doing refinement, it's easier for your developer to quickly scan through rather than going through to the attachment section. But if you have documents, you can also add links there. You can attach links, you can put it in that space, but it's always neater when you put it in like a separate, like attaching each of them to the user story as okay as advised.
Yeah. So you just make reference to it. So it's tidier. And please see attached document, or please see a link in wherever, or click this link to see blah 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 blah, whatever. But it's tidier that way. Okay. So we are only 9 minutes. No. 11 minutes beyond the time that we said we'll stay here. All right. So and
Sorry,
you have a
please.
meeting for Adekunle.
Yes, madam, please.
At this 11th hour. Okay. Go for it.
I was just able to come in now. I've been trying to connect since when I was reading it. Sorry. When I was reading in the course of the day, trying to scan through, I've actually said my major points tonight, or my major question will be on this wireframe. And I just happened to log in now and you were on wireframe. I needed to know. I don't really have I don't know about wireframe. That's my question.
Let me stop you there if that's your question. Okay, so you heard us talking of wireframe, but we didn't give any information about wireframe because Boli is going to be taking a session, teaching you guys how to create your wireframe. So yeah, okay, you haven't missed anything. Okay, we're just it's because Boli, you see it now. You carried wireframe. we've not extended the same.
But I wanted to make it realistic. I was following you now.
Let's blame Bolu. We'll put the blame on
I was
Bolu.
following you. You said
So-
wireframe. I put
so,
it so that they can
so
have real life
Adekunle,
example.
Yes.
fine. She just put the attachment there, right? I mean, she just put the wireframe on there to show how you can put it. In fairness, I'm just joking, but yeah, seriously speaking, nothing else has been shared about the wireframe. Okay, we're just talking about where you can put it. Okay.
But sorry,
in
what
terms
is
of-
wireframe itself?
That's what I'm saying, that this is not this class will not cover anything about the wireframe. When it's time for wireframe and all that discussion, I think it's already a part of you guys' training schedule. Bolu is the one that's going to take you guys on wireframes. Okay, so she will cover everything. That she will explain it to you and show you how to create it. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right then. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining. It was also a good number. I think we're 37.